What's going on YouTube? This is Jabber Tech, and today I'm going to give you a mini review, a mini update on the Suunto 7, which is a very large, very nice, very attractive Wear OS device. For those of you that have been following my channel, I got this about a month ago and I'm not quite ready to do a full review just because I think there's some things that I'm waiting for an update for on the Suunto 7, which I'll let you know a bit later on in this video. Because at 500 bucks, this is not something you want to just buy and hope that it works out for you. It's up there. It's one of the most expensive Wear OS devices right now, so definitely make sure this fits your needs before you just go ahead and buy it. It is a large device. I quite like it. Let's get into this mini review of the Suunto 7. First things first, Suunto is well known in the fitness industry for making some great fitness watches, and this is the first time that they've paired up with Wear OS to give people choice, to give people Wear OS with their own algorithms, and that's why this makes it the best fitness Wear OS device on the market right now. The algorithms, the amount of data that they give you is on point, and it's not something that you'll find on any other Wear OS device. Now granted, you can buy the Suunto 9, you can buy other Suunto devices that might give you a little bit more in terms of a fitness activity watch, but again, Wear OS is at this core, and Wear OS is a device, Wear OS is a platform that a lot of us, including myself, really like. For me personally, I'm super happy that I have a Wear OS device on steroids, and that's called the Suunto 7. To go over some of the basic features, I did a lot of this in my unboxing, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave the link down below. But this is Wear OS at its core, so swiping to the right, you have these tiles, and these are the Suunto tiles. It'll show you all your activity, how you've been doing over the past month. And this is Google Fit that you can integrate into the watch as well, and Suunto's applications will transfer your data to Google Fit, so you can always have it in Google Fit if you want. It also transfers to other applications as well if you want it to, but this has 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of storage, and it has a 3100 processor. So what does that mean for most people, the average consumer? That means this is a super snappy watch, even with quite a number of applications installed on it. It's never lagged, it's never really been a slouch, it's never been something that I've complained about. It's a great performer, and that 1 GB of RAM is a huge plus. Swiping down are your quick toggles. There's your airplane mode. You have your Google Pay access right over there. You can also have a do not disturb action. You can go into your battery saver, and then swiping up is where you'll see any and all notifications that you have. Swiping to the left, you'll get your Google Assistant, you'll get your Google feed, you'll get access to quick things like sending a message, checking your heart rate, etc., etc. You can also quickly track a package. Again, this is your Google feed, so it provides a lot of helpful information. You can also just speak to the watch. Okay, Google, what's the weather today? So if you want a hands-free experience, this is a great watch for you. That's why I like the Wear OS platform. It gives you a lot of accessibility on your wrist, because 20 hours out of the day when you're not working out, you want a functional watch on your wrist. You want something that's going to give you a lot of data. And with the Suunto 7, although it doesn't have a speaker, you do have a microphone, so you can get some hands-free action. You can reply to text messages just using your voice, but you cannot take calls. For that, you will have to pick up your phone and answer your calls. But for the most part, this is going to allow you to do everything you need to do. Staying with the theme of Wear OS, before we get into the fitness aspects of this watch, I like Wear OS because it gives you a lot of choice. You're not really locked into just one application. Just about every application that's on the Google Play Store should have a companion app that you can install right onto your watch. Of course, this has NFC built in, so you do have Google Pay here. You can make payments directly from your wrist. Google Maps means it gives you a nice turn-by-turn direction on your watch. You get nice vibrations when it's time to turn. Super useful function, especially when you're visiting a new city. You don't want to stand there on the corner taking out your phone looking like a tourist. This is a way to blend in and just have your watch kind of let you know when it's ready to turn. Look at your wrist and you'll be able to tell where you're going without any issue. There's the Google Fit application. You do have Google Fit's Breathe app if you need help breathing. There's a flashlight. This being a smartwatch and this being a fitness watch, a lot of times when you go for a run or go work out, you don't want to take your phone with you because that's just another distraction. That's just something heavy that you have to carry when you're running. Download your favorite playlist directly to the watch, pair up a Bluetooth headset directly to the watch, buy yourself a protein bar, protein shake right after your run with the watch. You don't have to take anything else. You're really good to go. You can also use Spotify in here and Pandora, but those you can only switch the tracks, and you can't really download music to it as of right now. Of course, that could change, but for right now, Google Play Music is the best option if you want to download directly to the watch. Again, I have my TinyCam Pro here so I can see my security cameras from wherever I am. You also have Google Translate built into the watch, another great feature if you are traveling somewhere else. You can have it translate things, and the person next to you will be able to understand you. Where's the closest subway? So there we go. You can do a little back and forth action and someone will be able to help you. Now, unfortunately, WearOs is not a battery champ. Google has tried to make the battery life a little bit better on these watches, but unfortunately, that's just not the case as of right now. I'm hoping for some update later on in the future. That's not Suunto's problem. That's a WearOs problem, and it is what it is. If you like WearOs, if you like all the accessibility on your wrist, that's just something you'll have to live with. So for battery, expect to get about a day to a day and a half. The only time I made it to 2 days is when I didn't work out, when I didn't listen to music, when I just used this as a smartwatch, and I didn't get a lot of notifications, I didn't get a lot of calls. I made it to 2 days, but realistically, guys, you're gonna get a day to a day and a half. Charging it with these pogo pins, though, is super fast. I think they have some sort of fast charging going on, because really, in just about an hour or less, this thing is fully charged up for me. So charging it up is not an issue. If you need a quick charge, just plug it in for about 10-15 minutes before you run, and by the time I put on my gear, this is charged up just enough to get me going throughout my workout. Talking about workouts, guys, the battery drain on this when you do work out is pretty significant, and again, that's a WearOs problem as far as I know. To break this watch down in terms of battery, you're gonna lose, if you're working out in the gym, I lost about 6 to 10% of battery life. When you're running, when you're using GPS, when you're listening to music, you're gonna lose a little bit more, figure about 12 to 15% an hour. Another thing that might be an issue for you guys, but it's not an issue for me because it's not something that I do, it's not something that I track, is sleep tracking. This does not have a Suunto 7 sleep tracking app. There are some apps out there for WearOs, some third-party apps that you can download and get sleep tracking, but at $500, I think they should have just thrown in a sleep tracking app. Again, for me, I don't use it, so that's not really a concern for me, but if you like to track your sleep, this does not currently have a Suunto sleep tracking app. One more issue that I have with this watch, and I know I'm sounding like I'm dumping on this watch, but I'm not, because I really enjoy it, especially this watch face, but I'm going to get into that in a second, is that it takes sometimes, I don't know why it does, but sometimes it takes 5 to 10 to 15 minutes to transfer the data from my activity after I'm done to my phone. Now, I don't know why that is. Sometimes it's super quick, sometimes it takes a while, sometimes I have to restart it before it sends all of my activities to my phone. Again, this can be addressed with a software update, but as of right now, that's just an issue that I have with it. I don't know why it takes a little while, but it does. Those are the 3 main things that I have with this watch right now, and they can be addressed with some software updates. That's why I'm going to wait a little bit before I give you guys my full review. But just look at this watch face. Now, if you're not new to my channel, you know I love watch faces. This is something that I've left on this watch. I have not downloaded any of my other WearOs watch faces that I have from other devices, because I think this heat map watch face is something that is an awesome feature, and you do get free unlimited maps from Suunto, which is an extra added bonus. When you charge this watch, when you connect to Wi-Fi, when you're sleeping, even if you're not sleeping, you just connect it to Wi-Fi and charge it. It's going to go ahead and download new maps if you're in a new area. So if we go to heat map, you can see here, I'm not going to go through all of them. You can kind of look at them as I scroll through. You get a whole bunch of different maps. So if you're in a new area, if you're traveling somewhere and you want to figure out where do people go, maybe walking, you can go ahead and change that heat map, and it's going to switch it out and show you where most people walk in your town. Here in New York City, we walk everywhere, so you can see just about every street is lit up. And then the cool thing about it, you can go ahead and select your zoom. If you want the metropolitan 10-mile range, you can do that all the way down to 1. So let me just show you what a 1-mile range will look like. So it really shows you where people walk, and again, very useful if you're in a new city, if you travel a lot, or if you just want to find a new trail to run. This is a great watch face to have. And then let me just switch it for fun again, guys. Roller skating. I don't know where many people roller skate in my 10-mile area, so let's just go ahead and look. I'm going to assume it's going to be along the West Side Highway. So yes, most people roller skate along the West Side Highway and in Central Park. It looks like nobody roller skates in Brooklyn, Queens, or even in New Jersey. So this is kind of an interesting map here. For those roller skaters out there, I know where you are. There are some more watch faces from Suunto. Again, WearOs, you can download whatever you want, but I just like their heat map, and that's one of the best features of this watch. You do have 3 buttons on here, so the bottom one will start up a stopwatch. The top one is your back button, and it also acts as your application button. The middle one here is going to open up your music player. You can change that if you want to. And then the top button here takes you right into Suunto's own fitness app, and they track about 70 different applications. So chances are, whatever you do, you're going to have an application here to kind of track you. But let's just go in, and I'm going to show you some of the exercise options. So inside, you have your tones and vibrations. You'll hear a little tone, and you will hear that vibration. Rather, you will feel that vibration on your wrist as you run. You can also keep the screen on, and actually that's one thing I forgot to mention. An issue that I have with this watch as well, and I'm going to show you that in a second, is that it doesn't show you any useful information when the screen is off. It's basically off and that's it. Or you can keep the screen on, but that's going to use even more battery life. But let's just go into map options. This is where you can choose your map style as well. Outdoor, winter, you have running, you have a trail map, you have a cycling map. So let's just go into the running map, and I'm going to show you what that is. Here's your offline map if you want to go in and download a specific area for your run. Again, super useful if you are in a new town, if you are in a new city. You can download an application and you can zoom in right to wherever you want this map to download, so that you can just take the watch with you without a phone and still be able to find where you want to run. And you can see here, this is the heat map that you have on your wrist when you run, and you can zoom in, you can zoom out as far as you want, and then you can start your run just by swiping over. But one more gripe that I want to mention, and that has to do with the always on screen, if you will. So if we start our run here, we can start the run just like that. We get all the useful information as you would on any other watch. So here's your lap times. There's your map of where you're running. You can also see your heart rate there. You can pause it, you can continue, etc., etc. And what I don't like about this, and this is what I'm going to show you right now, this is what it'll look like if you're running or if you're working out and you keep the screen on. I wish they made the off screen more useful. I wish they kept a constant timer down here. I wish they kept a constant maybe lap time or heart rate. Make use of this screen while it's a little bit dimmer. It's just not something that they do. This is the screen when it's off, and you can just pause it and play it. But when you go to pick it up, when you go to check out what you're doing, you have to wait kind of a millisecond. Sometimes it doesn't work. So for me personally, I would have liked to have seen them take advantage of this off screen, if you will, by giving us some useful information, maybe your heart rate zone, maybe your lap time, maybe just an actual stopwatch, something a little bit more useful than these highlighted buttons right over here. And speaking of heart rate, this is the zone, so if you look at it, it's color coded and you can see just at a glance where your heart is, and that's great for training. You get your timer down here, and it is useful. You do get your maps right over there once I do get a location. But I'm inside, so that's not going to happen right now. Here's your lap time, manual laps. You can go ahead and just press that button if you guys like manual laps. And that's basically it. You don't get any other screens on here, which I think is a shame. I think it's something that they could improve with an update. The always on screen, if you choose to keep it on, it's going to chew up a little bit more battery, probably more than it's worth. But you will be able to see all of your information. Again, it depends on what's useful to you, what you actually want in terms of an always on screen. And then when you finish your run, when you finish your workout, you get all the relevant information provided to you at a glance, so you can go ahead and see your heart rate, you can see what zones you're in, how many calories, your altitude, ascent, descent. It'll show your recovery time, show your PTE, your epoch score, and it's basically a great watch for those of you that want a lot of information. I'm going to delete this because I really didn't go for any type of run. After your run, you can go in and you can see all your information. So let's just click on an outdoor run that I did the other day. You get to see a nice graph, and generally the GPS did actually a pretty good job of keeping it consistent. You see it went off just a little bit over there, but for the most part, it did a really good job. It kind of went off a little bit over there as well. I'm going to also show you how my Garmin device did. But generally speaking, GPS on the Suunto 7 was excellent. Generally speaking, the heart rate on the Suunto 7 was excellent as well. Generally speaking, everything that you get in terms of metrics from this watch were on point. So you have your recovery time, how many calories you burned, your max pace, your average heart rate, max heart rate, again, average pace, distance, duration. You have more screens over here. It's not something that's new if you've ever had a fitness watch, but it is new on Wear OS to get all of this information. You'll see your heart rate zones. You can see how long you were in each zone. They give you nice graphs, and you get to see some more information, your 30-day summary. There's your lap times. You can see a whole bunch of information on here. So I think overall in terms of fitness, overall in terms of GPS and heart rate, it did an excellent job. No complaints from me when it comes to how the heart rate monitor worked. No complaints from me how the GPS worked. Your metrics, your recovery time, all of that was on point with this watch. So I have no complaints in terms of fitness on the Suunto 7. If you want to run on the treadmill was always about 1 mile off for some reason. And also for some reason, Suunto, if you're listening to me, every watch that I've owned let you calibrate the distance on your watch after your treadmill run, and then after a little while it'll kind of figure it out and give you better metrics, a better idea of the distance. Again, they can update this with some software, but in order to change the run, you do have to go into the app itself on your smartphone, check out distance. This is where you can go ahead and change the mileage, and once you do that, you can save it, and then it'll kind of give you the right thing. But I don't know why I can't change this on my wrist after my run right when it's done, because I might not remember when I get home. Now, for those of you that lift weights with this watch, this is what you can expect to see. Currently, there isn't a way to go in and select the reps and type of activity. So you can't select bench press, you can't select pectoral fly, and you can't just change the reps using a button. That's something I would like to see. That's something that would be awesome for a lot of people. But if you just want to know your heart rate, if you just want to know how long you've been at the gym and approximately how many calories you've burned, this is what you're going to get from Suunto 7. Not much more when it comes to the gym activity. And I quite think it's funny, guys. They give you a little clip art over here so you can see there what you've been doing. This turned out to be a mini long review, but if you're spending $500, I want you guys to know exactly what you can expect from a watch. If you have your heart set on Wear OS, you cannot beat the Suunto 7. If you're into fitness, trying to get into fitness, if you are in fitness, the Suunto 7 give you a lot of metrics, a lot of great accurate statistics. The 18 hours or 20 hours or 10 hours that you're not working out during the day, you're going to have a powerful watch on your wrist, and that's what it's all about. If you just get a fitness watch, you're not going to be super happy when you're not working out because it's not going to be as useful. You're not going to have the Google Assistant. You're not going to have apps on your wrist. You're not going to be able to make mobile payments, download music directly to it. And really, the only major limitation is battery life. But really, this charges so fast, it's not a concern. It should not be a concern because you're getting awesome specs. You're getting awesome statistics. Algorithms from Suunto 7, this heat map, the free unlimited maps that download no matter where you are, come directly to the watch is a huge plus, a huge bonus, and something that you guys really should consider if you like a Wear OS device. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.